the tragic life story of Captain Levi. Hailed as humanity's strongest soldier, Captain Levi is a legend himself. With strength that surpasses that of the Titans, he's every bit as tenacious as the 9 Titans themselves. I'd say if Eren is supposed to be humanity's last hope, then Captain Levi must be the symbol of humanity's strength. However, when you consider the history of his clan and how he came to be what he is now, it's all pretty sad and depressing. He's part of the Ackerman clan, but the explanation of what makes the Ackerman clan such a force to be reckoned with hasn't been given in this anime, well, not at least yet. But if we consider the manga, then don't worry here, I'm not going to spoil any major stuff, we're just going to talk about the origin of the legendary Ackerman clan here. In the manga, Zeke explains that the Ackermans are a byproduct of Titan science, and even though Zeke himself happens to be the wielder of the Beast Titan, he still claims that honestly, he doesn't want to meet any Ackerman ever again. Well, the memory of Levi slicing through his body as he's chopping meat must have done some major mental damage to him.
さっきは随分と楽しそうだったな。こうしつこ。ダメだ、間に合わな。もっと楽しんでくれよ。
So what does Zeke mean by Titan science? Well, apparently the Ackerman clan's always been a clan of warriors who stood by the royal king's side. They're a royal bloodline who are unsurpassed when it comes to real combat, yet they also happen to be subjects of Ymir just like other Eldians. Be that as it may though, what makes them so strong is the awakening. Since they're an Eldian family too, whenever one of the Ackermans undergoes an awakening, they instantly receive the battle experience of all of the previous Ackermans, as well as some other superhuman abilities like insane reflexes and decision-making skills, which allows them to know exactly what to do in a dire situation. However, after the Great Titan War, the Ackerman clan refused to follow the passive philosophy of King Karl Fritz. This leads to a cruel persecution of the Ackerman clan, because if the king can't control them and their memories, everything will fall apart. As the years passed by, the numbers of the Ackerman clan only continued to decrease until only 3 of them were left. Namely, Levi Ackerman, Kenny Ackerman, and Mikasa Ackerman. However, Kenny also met his end back in the 3rd season. Now it's just Levi and Mikasa. And even though Mikasa had a brutal past, Captain Levi's past is a tad bit more tragic. He was born to an Ackerman woman named Kchelu, but because she was an Ackerman, she had no choice but to live a life underground. She used to make ends meet by serving clients as a lady of the night, until the day she finally got pregnant and later gave birth to an Ackerman boy. That boy, of course, was Levi. Now, we don't know much about how she raised her son in his earliest days, but if we consider the situation Kenny found both Levi and his mother in, we can assume that Levi's life, even as an infant, must have been hell. Now, this scene was devastating. We see a girl lying on a bed with her eyes closed and an extremely skinny, starving kid sitting by the wall. What made the scene even more painful was the notion that it was Levi who told Kenny that his mom had been dead for some time. As he said this, both his eyes and his body were almost lifeless. Since Kenny happened to be Kchelu's older brother, he knew what a hellish life his sister had lived. He decides to take in Levi, and in time, he becomes the closest thing to a father that Levi would ever know. He teaches him how to survive in the underground world, be it combat, knife skills, social behaviour, or even the awakening that only a few Ackermen are ever able to pull off. Kenny raises Levi until he knows that the boy is now strong enough to take care of his own. And then one day, right when Levi's in the middle of a brawl, Kenny leaves. He just fades away into the background. Before Levi realises it, Kenny was already gone. And from that day onward, Levi lived his life as an underground thug. Now, what happened after Levi was left alone by Kenny wasn't clearly explained in the anime. However, there's an Attack on Titan OVA named No Regrets. It covers a story from Levi's youthful days before he joined Commander Erwin and became a scout. We won't be talking about the specific details, but this OVA definitely gives us a sound idea on how Captain Levi came to be a scout and how he has such a strong personality. I'd say if you haven't watched that one yet, then you definitely should. Now, back in the day, he and his partner Farron used to lead a squad, or you could call it a gang, that used to do underground jobs. And to get their jobs done, they used 3D maneuver, until one day a girl named Isabel pops up at their door, all the while holding an injured bird. She's being pursued by some people, however Captain Levi takes care of the situation with a little bit of necessary violence. Later she gets acquainted with both the captain and Farron, and just like that, she becomes one of them. Together, they all live their free yet incredibly restricted lives until one day, things somehow get complicated and all three of them end up getting captured by Commander Erwin and the other scouts. Commander Erwin was still confused at how this underground gang managed to not only use but master the 3D maneuver. They tried to use force to get the answer out of Levi, but of course, we know that Levi is a tough cookie. So Farron and Isabel simply explained that they learnt it all on their own because that's what it takes to survive. And then, after reading the situation, Erwin proposes Levi a deal. If Levi and his two partners join the Survey Corps, their crimes will be overlooked. Levi understands and agrees to join. However, what happens next was something that Levi didn't see coming. Joining the Scouts wasn't outside the plan for Levi. In fact, it was their job to somehow get rid of Erwin and steal some important documents from him. However, later, during a mission, as things aren't looking good, Levi decides to take a detour to go and kill Erwin. So he splits from his two friends and goes in Erwin's direction. Be that as it may, as he's on his way, he instinctively realizes that his friends may be in danger. He rushes back with the intention of saving his friends from danger, but by the time he arrives on the scene, it's already too late. In that moment, Levi sees Isabel's severed head lying on the ground and Farron getting eaten by an abnormal titan. This moment, everything inside Levi snapped. He was dripping with rage. Nothing else mattered except butchering that titan right in front of him. It was this titan that took away the lives of his friends, the friends that he considered his own family. And for that, this titan had to pay. For us fans, this was indeed a very painful moment. After this, Levi ends up making the choice to join Commander Erwin. These events happened before the fall of Shiganshina, and this was how Captain Levi became a scout. However, the pain doesn't stop there. During the female Titan arc, Captain Levi loses his whole squad yet again, all of them. The pain in his eyes is obvious, yet the captain doesn't let a tear out. There were plenty of events even after this, but the most major one is when Commander Erwin asks him to make the choice and he ends up asking Erwin to lead the Scouts straight to their deaths. That was the only option. His sad past, the regrets, the sorrow, the pain, it's all part of his personality. It's what makes Captain Levi who he is. But even after all that's happened, Levi still has a strong compassion as well as empathy for human life. And despite the insane amount of strength and skills he possesses, he never acts arrogant in front of other soldiers. He's a badass in the real sense of the word, and he deserves every bit of all the love he's getting from all of us Attack on Titan fans.
なんだ髪切れねえ今のこいつがまさかAckerman!
From a poor, starving kid who could barely even talk to humanity's strongest soldier, just thinking about Captain Levi's life just gives you goosebumps. So, what do you think of Captain Levi's character in the series? Do share your thoughts in the comment section below.